The Apple logo is one of the most recognized logos in the world today, but why does it have a byte missing? In early 1977, Apple was preparing to release their second computer, the Apple II, and they approached the marketing firm Regis McKenna to design a new logo. The only direction Apple gave them was, don't make it cute. Regis McKenna assigned the task to a young designer named Rob Janoff and told him to make it a type treatment with the name, a stylized version of the word Apple. So Rob chose a new font called Mototectura, and he used this font as the basis for a stylized Apple logo. But Rob wasn't satisfied with this simple type treatment. He was determined to somehow incorporate the Apple itself, saying, "I knew intuitively that I had such a great dichotomy to work with. I told Regis that if we don't somehow use the fruit, the apple, we'd lose a whole lot of the funness of the idea." So, after looking at cross-sections of real apples, he designed an image of an apple in silhouette. Then he combined it with the Apple text in the Mototectura font, the curvature on the lowercase a creating a bite mark. He also produced a version of the logo without the bite mark and presented them both to Steve Jobs. Steve chose the version with the bite mark. Speaking of the bite mark, Rob later said, "The bite in the apple was initially meant to indicate that it was an apple and not something else. Also, metaphorically, the bite indicated biting into all of the knowledge that users would get out of this computer." This logo, consisting of the monochrome Apple silhouette together with the stylized word Apple, was used on Apple's business cards, letterheads, and computer components throughout the late 70s and early 80s. Rob also designed a coloured version of the logo with 6 horizontal bands, designed to make the Apple computers appear more friendly to the average consumer and to highlight the fact that the Apple II was the first home computer able to produce colour graphics. This version of the logo was used in Apple's advertising, on their packaging, and in their manuals. And it also took a prominent place on the front of the Apple II, Apple II Plus, Apple IIe, and Apple III computers. By 1984, 7 years after the release of the Apple II, Apple had sold millions of computers, and they were now confident enough in their brand recognition to release the first computer sporting the Apple logo without the word Apple appearing next to it. First came the original Macintosh, released in January of that year, closely followed by the Apple IIc in April. At the same time, the Apple silhouette was reworked slightly by Landor and Associates to make it more geometric and symmetrical, and the colours were brightened. While the word may have gone from the logo, its legacy in the form of the bite mark where the curve of the letter A once sat remained, as it does to this day. 45 years later, the Apple logo found on modern Mac computers, phones and tablets still owes the size, shape and location of the bite mark to the curvature of the lowercase a in the Mototectura font that it was once designed to accommodate. As with most things in this age of the internet, many myths have sprung up over the years about the origin and meaning of the bite mark. Some have said that the bite mark is a biblical reference to the apple eaten by Eve in the Garden of Eden. According to Rob, the religious myths are just that. There's no Eve and Garden of Eden symbolism. Others have said that it's an homage to the British computer scientist Alan Turing. Again, this is dismissed as a myth, with Rob saying, "It's amazing to me how many people think that designers design stuff into their logos to have meaning and be profound. It's enough of a job to get something to look halfway decent." Others have said that the bite mark was added because he thought the logo looked like a cherry. Rob dismisses this, saying, "Like many things, stories have a way of getting stretched and changed in the retelling. I never really thought the logo looked like a cherry." Another myth was that the rainbow colours in the original logo were an homage to the LGBT community. In fact, they were just to highlight the colour graphics ability of the Apple II. According to Rob, the rainbow colours had to do with the unique selling point of this product. The Apple computer was the only one that could show images in colour. Finally, we often see the suggestion that the byte mark was a reference to the computing term for 8 bits, a byte. In fact, this was just an accident, and Rob wasn't even aware that byte was a computing term until after he'd already designed the logo. Regardless of the myths, one thing that's certain is the fact that this logo has endured almost 40 years with minimal changes, and it's a testament to the strength of Rob's original design. When asked what the most important feature of a well-designed logo is, he replies, simplicity.